You either use the internet for fun or you use the internet to grow. You're here to grow. Welcome to TRS Clips. You were never tempted to be an Aghori yourself?
I have certainly, under Vimalananda's instructions, performed Aghora sadhanas, but to actually be an Aghori means to transform yourself so that 24 hours a day you are in that state of that Aghori state of mind. So if that ever happens, then I will feel like I've achieved something. But otherwise, I have done whatever sadhanas he instructed me to do, and some of them were Aghora type sadhanas.
Do you want to talk about any of them if you're comfortable?
Yes. I mean, certainly I never did, I never tried, he never told me to try to sit on a corpse. I have sat in cremation grounds in many different places, including in Benares and at Banaganga. I got kicked out of the Pune Smashan once, the Pune cremation ground. And it was my own fault because I was going there every night. And one day I gave a gift to the guy who was the superintendent there because he was kind enough. And I had gone to the Pune Municipal Corporation and I had gone to the health commissioner office because they managed the cremation ground. And I got permission from the additional health commissioner. And so I had my permission. And I showed it to that guy. But it's always nice to offer a little something to the karmachari, to the worker. But being young and stupid, I didn't realize that if I only offer it to the superintendent and not to the other workers, then they're going to feel like they were being left out. So after a few days, everything was going along very well. But after a few days, one Sunday night, I remember it was a Sunday, and this was probably 35 years ago. And back then, of course, there was no internet and there were no phones. And there was, however, here in Bharatavarsha, in Hindustan, there was the Sunday night movie. And so I'm here I built a fire. I'm sitting there worshiping the fire. And somebody shows up and he introduces himself as the health commissioner of Pune. And I say, yes, I have permission from the additional health commissioner. And this makes him, Birdkarge even more. He makes him even more upset. And he says, who is the additional commissioner? I am the health commissioner, and I'm telling you, you must leave immediately. I said, but I'm in the middle of doing this. He said, you must leave immediately. Otherwise, those 20 men over there will come and beat you up and drag you away. So I looked over and I saw the 20 men over there. And I thought, it's time for me to leave. So I said, okay, there's you and there's this fire here. That's the karma is between you and it. And so I departed. So
you mean the health commissioner and the fire?
Yes, because he's interrupted what I've started. So he has performed that karma. So now it's between him and the fire. In any event, I mean, why he did this? Maybe was it because I was obviously a Videshi, a foreigner? Was it because, I don't know. So there were certain limitations to what I could do. But Vimalananda was kind enough to point out, for example, I mean, certain things just have appeared in my life. And like when I was in the Ayurvedic college in Pune, we were studying anatomy and we were studying modern anatomy according to the book of Cunningham. And so we were dissecting a body. And in order to understand the anatomy of the head, I had purchased 3 skulls. Now, where the skulls came from, of course, I didn't ask, but the guy who was in charge of the anatomy lab arranged them. They were not expensive back then. It was like, 12 rupees a piece. So I had these 3 skulls. And one day after I met, and I'd been studying them, where does this muscle go? And that Vimalananda said to me, what about those 3 skulls you have? And I had never mentioned that I had 3 skulls. I said, yeah, I have those 3 skulls. What about them? He said, what do you think you're doing with those skulls? I said, well, I'm studying them anatomically. He said, do you think they're not having an effect on you? I said, I don't know. So he said, yes, definitely they are. So then he told me what to do to establish a relationship that was not just me using, them for anatomical purposes, but me acknowledging that they were previously had been human beings that had been dug up probably did not want to be dug up. And now they were living in my desk. And so for many years, they and I had a particular relationship.
You mean the ghosts of those human beings?
But it was not so much that ghost is a big word. So it's quite possible that these individuals had been reborn already, but still at a level possibly not conscious for them, there was still a connection to this previous existence that they had had because their bones were still there. And that's one reason why in this country, the cremation is so encouraged, because that destroys they're not even bones or there may be a few pieces, but they all then go into the water. So there's no body left for the spirit to connect to. So sometimes there may be a spirit remaining there. I think that if the spirit had been very strong with these 3 skulls, they probably would have started harassing me already. But it was strong enough that after I started paying attention to them, that I started to realize that in fact they were definitely a presence there. And once I got them to understand that, look, I don't want you interfering with my awareness, and I'm going to do this for you so that you will also get some benefit out of it, then we had a nice relationship for several years.
New clips released at the same time that a podcast releases. This is TRS Clips. Make sure you subscribe.